Hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFOL Inspirations for Your Life. It's so great to be with you this evening, which is, well, it's actually into the Tuesday morning, but we're really doing the Monday show, in case you guys are wondering. It's just been a little crazy with getting things ready and leaving for vacation in just basically a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, the 21st, I leave, but we'll still be on the air doing stuff as I travel. You guys know all that. And so if you're new to IFOL, you'll see a QR code. Open up your smartphone, take the camera app, point to that QR code, and click on the yellow ellipse. You'll get my link tree. Lots of great information for you to improve the quality of your life and everyone else that you care so much about. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the show. But before we do that, I want to thank you guys for popping in. Really appreciate you guys. And also, I want to thank those that have been with us for so long. Friends, colleagues, and wonderful associates. I appreciate you guys so very, very much. And I hope some of the new people will become loyal, just like all of you have been for so long. Pretty soon, we're celebrating a birthday for IFYL. Really excited with that. And also, IFYL is going to be live on the radio in Chicago in just a couple days. So if you are in the Chicago area, plus we'll also tell you how you can listen, online and watch the listen to the radio program, I should say. And it's going to be an extension of Inspirations for Your Life, but it's going to be drive time every single day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 in the morning, and Tuesday and Thursday will be on at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So you're definitely going to want to check this out. It is really cool. All right, let's get to the master topic, everyone. Are you ready? I'm ready. Using the word goodbye series, episode number 3. Ugh. Well, before we get into the word goodbye, I'd like to look up a word for you, which I know all of you know. I go to Merriam-Webster all the time. And the word I want to look up is gingerbread house. So, according to Merriam-Webster, a gingerbread house is a noun. It's a cake whose ingredients include molasses and sugar. It's from fancy shapes and gilding formerly open applied to gingerbread, lavish or superfluous ornament, especially in architecture. And when somebody says it's gingerbreaded, that would be an adjective, okay? Or gingerbready. So pretty cool. A gingerbread house is pretty amazing. It's great for the family. But you know what's really cool, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what today is? Well, actually, December 12th is. December 12th is National Gingerbread House Day. Wow. That's just pretty amazing. So National Gingerbread House Day. I mean, you're probably saying to me, John, that's pretty incredible, isn't it? Gingerbread house is recognized on December 12th, and it's a family tradition that's gone on for years and years and years. And lots of people build gingerbread houses. But, when did gingerbread house day start? When did it start? Well, that's a very good question. It was a tradition that has been honored for years and years and years and years and years. Okay. Maybe parents, grandparents. But how did Gingerbread House Day start? Well, the tradition of making decorated gingerbread houses started in Germany in the early 1800s. According to many researchers, the first gingerbread house were the result of well-known Grimm's, Grimm apostrophe S, fairy tale Hansel and Gretel. You'll remember that wonderful story. In the modern times, the tradition has continued in certain places in Europe. Now, you're probably saying to me, John, how did it start? So, as I said, it started back in Germany in the 1800s. And it's as we said, supposedly popularized after the not-so-Christmassy fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel. It was published in 1812. And that's where it came from. But, gingerbread houses have been around for a long time. And the thing about them is that it brings families together, friends together. It's a nice activity that you can do with the family or with friends. I mean, it's just a great tradition, just like baking cookies, right? Gingerbread houses are delicious. They look really great, and they only come around at the holidays. So, why is gingerbread called gingerbread? So, gingerbread is an old fashioned French word, which actually means preserved ginger. And the root was first cultivated in ancient China and was eventually discovered that it helped to preserve both flour and the meat. Because of this, ginger was baked into little crisps that eventually became cookies in Western Europe. These cookies, or the fairings, would be called at the time, and they grew very popular at fairs, hence the name. Many of these were decorated with gilded edges and would be the foundation of what would today be known as gingerbread house. So, what the heck is a gingerbread house? Well, it's a confectionery house made from hardened ginger biscuit, often referred to as ginger nut. The house is typically decorated with an assortment of frosting and candied elements that are sweet. And this practice comes from the tradition of baking ginger into small cookies called snap cookies. Maybe many of you remember them. I know going to my grandmother's house and having a cup of tea and taking that ginger snap and dipping it in milk or in tea was always a highlight whenever I visited. Grandma would always say, get the ginger snaps out. And I'd have one. You couldn't just have one, and you dunk it in milk, and it was just absolutely to die for. So the characteristic of a gingerbread house is that the end product should resemble some form of an architecture, but today it's very loosely applied. A gingerbread house can be made to look like anything. And the important rule of it being constructed entirely of edible items, namely candy and gingerbread. So there are gingerbread houses all over the place. But who invented gingerbread houses? Well, the actual inventor is largely unknown, unfortunately, as gingerbread construction can be found as far back as the ancient Greece and even further into China. But before the Europeans in North America, the practice of making gingerbread houses originated in Germany during the 1800s. Now, gingerbread was already used to make different forms of art. German bakers took this to the next step, basking in the creation of a very popular fairy tale from Brothers Grimm, Hansel and Gretel. The two children were abandoned in a forest before discovering an edible house made of bread and sugar. Bakers took descriptions of this house from the story and began approximating their own take on gingerbread house. Now, this would be very popular during Christmas, and it was commonplace in the tradition to consume ginger snap cookies around this time as well. Didn't really know why I was consuming them, but heck, my grandmother was German, so maybe that was what. So, what's the purpose of a gingerbread house? Well, that's a great question. A gingerbread house has a twofold purpose: to provide an artistic medium and, of course, a nice snack to eat. Gingerbread houses are commonly made today to express creativity in more fun and visual, vibrant ways. With the world's sweets available, the cost of materials certainly isn't high, and the ceiling for creativity is endless. Creating fun, practicing for children and family, and adults too. Plus, afterwards, you can eat your creation, something everyone, including children and adults, definitely don't mind doing. So, the history of gingerbread houses in Germany stated previously that gingerbread houses in Germany originated from bakers emulating the description from Hansel and Gretel. In Europe and North America, it was already commonplace to make gingerbread mold carvings with artistic depictions. So bakers applied their own craft and constructed their ideas of fairy tale house, resulting in what we know today as gingerbread house making. And this was a tradition that became very popular at Christmas time. So, how did it get started? Well, the tradition of the gingerbread house began with the Europeans and the Americans baking ginger snap cookies around Christmas. And these cookies tend to be decorated with elaborate designs and edged with pictures of animals and houses or other architecture. And gingerbread was also a medium for displaying folk art and the news as well. But how did they get into Christmas? So, ginger snap cookies have always been associated with the spirit of Christmas. And as such, it was highly popular to bake large assortments of ginger products during Christmas, with the concept of gingerbread houses, eventually with the tradition merging with the idea of the gingerbread houses. And since Christmas is wildly important in the German world, the practice would become synonymous with Christmas itself. So it is said that gingerbread houses can be traced as far back as the ancient Greece and Egypt. Gingerbread is said to have been invented by a monk to help cure indigestion, but there's no proof of that. It is said that Queen Elizabeth came up with the concept of the gingerbread man after wanting to present them to visiting officials as gifts. Gingerbread is unique in that it uses honey and molasses as the base sweetener instead of sugar. So the city of Bergen in Norway, they make an entire city of gingerbread houses annually. And it's tradition that unmarried women in England would often eat gingerbread men for good luck in meeting a husband. In Sweden, gingerbread was thought to have brought good luck, and people would use them to make wishes. The word gingerbread comes from the old French word gingerbras, meaning preserved ginger. Now, while gingerbread houses are wildly popular in North America and Europe, it never saw a lot in the United Kingdom. Now, the largest gingerbread house in the world is 60 feet by 40 feet and is worth 35 million calories. It's constructed with 1,800 Hershey bars, 1,200 feet of Twizzlers, 100 pounds of Tootsie Rolls, 100 Whirly Pops, and thousands of assorted candies. So you might be saying to me, John, where is the largest gingerbread house? Well, it's actually in Bryan, Texas. Okay. And it's the record for the largest gingerbread house around. So I think that's definitely pretty cool. Who built the world's largest gingerbread house? The Traditions Club. The largest gingerbread house has an internal volume of pretty large number and was created by the Traditions Club USA at the Traditions Club in Bryan, Texas. The house is pretty large, gets lots of tourists that want to come and see it. And they say the real life gingerbread house, the real life is in Salt Lake City. It's the beginning to look a lot like Christmas while the Utanians across the state continue to put up their decorations. There's a house getting some extra attention in Salt Lake City neighborhoods, a real life gingerbread house bringing some holiday magic to many. So, is the gingerbread house at Disney real? That's a great question. So, Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa, the giant gingerbread house is designed as a replica of the resort. It towers at about 7 feet tall and 12 feet wide. Plus, it's made of more than 600 pounds of gingerbread, 600 pounds of powdered sugar, 250 pounds of fondant, 1 pound of pixie dust, and 25 hidden Mickeys. Wow. That is incredible. People say to me, did the gingerbread man ever get caught? The tale ends with a fox catching and eating the gingerbread man, who cries as he devoured. It's amazing how, we love to have stories, whether we're young or older. We love to hear about, different traditions. And it's cool to hear about them and to learn about them. And I have to say to you that gingerbread is pretty cool. The thing that's really interesting to me about gingerbread is that it's become so popular, right? And if you remember the one story, the gingerbread man, you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. The fox is the only one who succeeds in eating the gingerbread man because he tricked him into climbing onto his back. And the gingerbread man is eaten by a fox, also making the others chase for nothing. So I guess the moral of that story is you have to be careful whose pack you hop on. So today is National Gingerbread Day, but let's get into our master topic, okay? So we're going to talk about the word goodbye. And, a lot of us want to be kind and courteous, but sometimes people take advantage. Unfortunately, it happens at all different ages, young, middle, older. And so what I recently learned in the last couple of years is the word goodbye. It could be a customer, client, maybe they're abusing you. And so you get to the point where you just feel it's not working. And you don't argue. You say these words, two or one word, goodbye. Or you might have somebody that's doing something who works for you, and you got to let them know you're serious. And so, a good way to do that is you tell them, look, this is the way it's going to be, or goodbye. And some people are going to think that you're not serious, but you got to hold to your guns. But when you leave a situation or when somebody asks you to do something and it's not what you want, and you say, look, goodbye. A good example of this might be somebody's abusing you. And you find that you're always there for that drama. You don't want to be, but you're there for the drama. And you just say to them, look, you keep doing this, I'm just going to say goodbye. No, no, no. Well, I need you to and it's like, goodbye. And then they're trying to chase after you, but it's too late because you can't turn back once you made that promise. So goodbye is also a way of leaving the situation with dignity and grace and making those other people pretty much eat out of their bad luck that they weren't too nice to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't get a chance to make a gingerbread house, well, go ahead and make one tonight. Otherwise, make one today, December 13th, because we're in the wee hours of the morning. And, put some holiday music on, some cheer, and realize that when you have traditions and you do things, you have conversations that kind of bind us together. An interesting thing I want to share with you tonight is that you can always tell when somebody is being truthful with you. If you're asking somebody a question and they don't even show interest, they're just like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, okay, oh, 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 that's nice, oh, and they have nothing else to say but that one word. You know what that tells me? That tells me that person's a liar. That tells me that that person is deceitful. That's what it tells me. Now, I know that you're saying, John, that's harsh. No, it's not harsh. So learn to use the word goodbye. We're going to talk about it a lot more, but right now we're talking about it just with you and a friend. It could be a relationship. They're not being well to you. You just say goodbye. Oh, wait. Goodbye. This is the way I'm going to do it. Otherwise, it's goodbye. Well, how do you want to do it? This is the way I want to do it. Oh, okay. I guess you could do it that way. Fine. And if you change and we can't do it that way, it'll just be goodbye. And so people think that you're using that as a threat. You're not. You've got to stick to your guns and remember that when you say goodbye, don't be nasty about it. Let's take a typical situation. So you just had somebody that was abusing you. And if you go back, you're going to get abused more. So they ask you to do something and you just say, oh, Tim, goodbye. What do you mean goodbye? Goodbye. I'm interested. Goodbye. Being polite and walking away is going to make people turn their heads and be like, what the heck? And you got to take confidence in yourself. We got more to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor. And of course, now one of the new voices of Chicago Drive Time Radio. You can definitely learn more about me there. But check out BelieveMeAchieve.com. There's so much great stuff. Comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates like this. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then be sure to go to my YouTube channel, John Space, E Space, M-O-R-L-E-Y, Space, Serial Entrepreneur. Look for that key phrase to help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a savory dessert, or perhaps a delicious, healthy bowl of fruit. Either way, we're going to be grateful for those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, impactful, motivational content to take you to become a better version of yourself. And I leave you with this word. When life seems to be throwing you curveballs from people that are disrespecting you, just say one word: goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night or a wonderful rest of your morning, depending on what part of the country you're listening to me from. Take care, everyone.